Thank you so much. I've loved all of these so far. I've been to, I think, almost all of them, and they're really wonderful. So thank you so much for putting these together. I'll just introduce myself first. So I'm here with a group called Incorruptible Mass, I was a software engineer until 2016, but that 2016 cycle really made me realize that our politics were kind of at an all hands on deck moment, and so I ended up leaving software, and over the last 4 years, I've been training people around the country to run slates of candidates at the city council level as the fastest way to win majorities in a single electoral body and to pass progressive policy. So this is a model of electoral organizing that I learned from the Richmond Progressive Alliance, which is a grassroots coalition on the West Coast that has been really incredibly successful. I have a whole story that I can tell just about their really hard to believe success against millions and millions of corporate dollars spent against them. I'm happy to answer questions about that later. But let me go ahead and share my screen so I can talk a little bit about Incorruptible Mass and what we're doing here at the state level. Let me know if you can't see that. But we're here to use that model to take back our state house. And you know, you guys probably all know that progressive organizations in Massachusetts have fought for years to create real change. It is painfully slow in a state where these policies really have majority support among our residents. And the state house is the policy bottleneck that we face. You can see just how many years, often these policies will pass through the state Senate, but they will get stuck in the state house and be unable to pass for years, sometimes for decades. I believe the Medicare for All bill first entered the state house 35 years ago. You know, immigrant driver's licenses has been there for 17 years throughout the last presidency, when many states worked to protect immigrants from that terrible administration. So, you know, having bills with popular support languish for this many years is not what democracy looks like. And so we really believe that focusing our entirely progressive movement in Massachusetts around the state house is the way that is our fastest way to pass progressive policy here in Massachusetts. I also ran for state rep in 2020. And after that, I met with Marianela Rivera, who she actually took the Incorruptibles training in 2018 when I was training people all over the country, and she used that to help her win school committee seats in her city. And we met with Damali Badeau, and the three of us started to really dream about what it would be like to run a big progressive slate of candidates in 2022 that could support each other both during the campaign, but more importantly, once they got into office using the Incorruptibles model. So as candidates in 2020, one thing that became abundantly clear from knocking on doors is that our communities are really kept in the dark about the State House. Almost no one knows what happens there. Nobody knows how broken it is, how undemocratic the structure is, how opaque the rules are, how toxic the culture is, or how much dictatorial power the speaker has over our representatives and over what bills are allowed to pass in Massachusetts. And the vast majority of people don't even understand what our state government does, right? How much control it has over our lives, or that it could pass sweeping changes that bring us into alignment with our values. The things that we fight for at the national level are things that we could have here in Massachusetts for 7 million people. So the goal of Incorruptible Mass, we really have this through the model that the Incorruptibles, that I've been training people in through the Incorruptibles, we have an 18-month plan to lay the groundwork for a progressive slate of candidates to run in 2022 and win. And for those elected officials to stay allied with the coalition that elected them. That's like a key part of this model. And we will raise awareness of the deep problems at the State House. We will amplify all of our coalition partners' demands for progressive policies and challenge incumbents with a diverse slate of candidates in 2022. So at the core of the plan are two elements. One is a brain trust of the strongest progressive organizations across the Commonwealth And the other one is local teams across the Commonwealth. So we understand that no one organization knows about every single issue, and so we rely on our roundtable to really provide that kind of knowledge, deep knowledge, both of the issues as well as of specific regions of our state and specific districts. And through the local teams, together we're able to take statewide action in a strategic and targeted way. And you can think of the Incorruptible Mass sort of statewide team as helping to coalesce the progressive movement around the State House to make sure everything runs smoothly. And we hope that if we do our job well, it'll feel something like this. So every month we have our roundtable meetings, and we ask people to bring legislative priorities so that we can strategize our actions around those. And together we decide on a theme, what the messaging should be, what kind of activists we can bring, and what types of tactics are going to be the most impactful. So, everything from marches, vigils, boycotts, letters to the press, political theater. And our activists in these local teams bring their local knowledge and creativity to actions that have a statewide message. Oh, there, I forgot to show those. So there's those. And then as far as a timeline, we have done a ton of research on all of the districts, and we are handing those over to our local teams. We have a coalition of partners, our roundtable, that's growing all the time. We are seeding our local teams right now. We are having an action on July 24th, and I'm going to pause for a second with this timeline and talk a little bit about actions. So actions are part of the model, and in Richmond, California, the coalition partners participated in 8 months of actions around policies leading up to elections, and that helped their slate of candidates really kind of ride into the elections on a great set of policies as the fighters for those policies. Now, we also have really been listening to a group called Momentum. They're an organization that trains groups like ours in a model for how to quickly build a movement from a few people to hundreds of active chapters. And for example, they trained the founding teams of the Sunrise Movement, If Not Now, Cosecha, and a lot of other groups. And we're following their guidelines, which really involve using nonviolent creative actions with a clear message to build active popular support among the public, and then having a structure that allows those newly engaged people to plug into the organization. This upcoming Saturday, July 24th at 11 o'clock, our statewide team is organizing an action on the Boston Common. And I invite everyone here to participate and bring your grassroots memberships. Jordan Burke-Powers, Jonathan Cohn, and I will be doing a live taping of our podcast about state politics. We will be doing a limerick contest. So if you want to have your limerick about the State House and how broken it is, if you want to read that on the air, then we will let you. We'll have a little contest on Twitter for how to do that. And we're also going to be, so after the podcast, we'll have a short march to the State House steps, where we'll be having some political theater that's going to be really fun. We're also going to have assignment materials, kids activities. You can bring your whole family, and we look forward to seeing you there on July 24th. Actually, let me go ahead and post the link for that information. Let me just put that in the chat. Oh, actually, I find trouble seeing the chat while I'm presenting. I'll post it as soon as I'm done. In August is when we are going to get our local teams doing actions. And the theme is Years at the State House. So we're going to train our local teams to sort of raise awareness around these bills that have languished at the State House for decades, using bold visuals, these giant numbers, moving stories. We're going to provide, we're working with our coalition partners on a suite of flyers, each one focusing on a specific bill. And so we'll provide those to the local teams. And all of our actions are really designed to be inviting to people who are not already politically active, so that we can quickly grow our local teams and raise awareness. So love to talk more about that with anyone who's interested. Back to the timeline, our actions are kind of designed to raise awareness, amplify our demands, bring new people into the movement. If you have been involved in organizing for any length of time, you probably understand that even decades of lobbying, even large prolonged actions, sometimes fail to change the votes of legislators who hold power over policy. And so in 22, we will recruit a diverse slate of candidates in key districts. You can think of it as our own squad by Presley's and AOCs who will run on a solidarity platform. Now, there have been a lot of successful slates recently, and we have advisors from a number of these that we have talked to either once or many times, and we're very excited about that part of the strategy. Right now, we're in the phase of sort of growing the awareness and growing the local teams. So that's kind of the phase right now, but that is for sure a part of this model that I'm very well versed in, that we're very excited about. So to make this work, we would love to have your help. We would love to see you at the July 24th event. I'll put that link in the chat. If you can spread the word to your networks, that would be amazing. We also just love talking to coalition partners, discussions with our coalition partners. Cole can tell you this, Jordan and Jonathan also. And we've had, coalition partners have really helped us form a lot of our specific strategy and tactics as we refine this model to work at the state level. You can also join our roundtable to be part of the monthly discussions. I know that for the July 24th action, there are many people who have helped us refine exactly what that's going to be like, the incredible creative ideas that happened at the roundtable and with our later discussions with people. So we also invite you to help build the local teams. We have a number of groups that already have worked with us to invite their memberships to our local teams. That just allows us to sort of coordinate the training. And we have other coalition partners who are kind of on the path to doing that. We are happy to sort of meet with your grassroots membership to present what we're doing. So that would be amazingly helpful. And we really believe that by engaging our various memberships of activists, workers, and communities in this single 18-month cause with a credible plan to win, that we can grow all of our organizations. We're incredibly grateful to the groups that are inviting their memberships to join the local teams. And so we have had great conversations about how we can help those groups either pass the bills that are most important, or help them grow their own memberships, create new chapters. We really believe in helping your organization accomplish its goals of growth and its goals of policy. So we love to have those conversations, and we look forward to talking to you about that. So that's it. By joining forces as a coalition of progressives across the Commonwealth, we really believe that we can end the bottleneck at the State House, have a state that lives up to our values and enacts the policies that the people of Massachusetts want, need, and deserve, and that we can be the first in a domino of states to pass policies nationally. So it's kind of, we think of it as a national strategy as well. That's it. I hope I didn't go over time, and I would take